Welcome to video number 1. This is the introduction to content curation. So first things first, I want you to get into the right mindset. I want you to think quality over quantity because a lot of people make the mistake of getting into content curation. They buy these automated softwares that simply grab tons and tons of content and curate them. While there's nothing really wrong with that, if you do it the right way and you set up your system correctly, the wrong way is just to think about grabbing tons and tons of content, because you got to think about quality content, not just any content. I mean, think about you as a viewer, you typing in, into Google, you find a site that has content curation in it, and you see a ton of content that is just too broad, not too specific, doesn't really fit your needs, or you're thinking to yourself, well, why do I need to come to this site when I can go to another site? Because if you want to do content curation right, you have to think in the mindset of your viewers. They are going to want something of value, so it needs to be some sort of reaction to it. You need to respond to it. So, because in the end, you need to be seen as the expert. Now, before we jump right in, I want to give you a quick videos overview so you know exactly what to expect in this video course. So obviously this is the introduction. In video number 2, we're going to talk about curation authority sites versus content curation strategies. So we're going to talk about briefly what softwares you need to use if you want to start your own authority site. It's a great way to make money by owning your own content curation authority site. But just keep in mind that it does take time to create an authority site. On the other hand, we're going to talk about 5 different content curation strategies that you can use right away in your business and just start driving traffic immediately, because authority sites do take time. So the bulk of this video series will be focusing on the content curation strategies. So video number 3, we're going to talk about building content curation sites for authority. I'm not going to be diving in too much, but I will give you a brief overview of what softwares we suggest that you use if you want to go down this route and what you will need to do to achieve that. So we're going to talk briefly about that, but we're going to focus mainly on the strategies because this is really about helping you get results immediately. So to do that, with content curation authority sites taking time, to do this, we will show you number 1, content curation strategy number 1, which will be about lists, such as finding lists of links, lists compilations of different sites that will relate to whatever you're trying to promote. And it'll all make a lot more sense when I actually dive into it. Video number 5 is going to be similar, but we're going to be using image compilations, sort of like image lists of image and so forth. There is a specific strategy that I will be using in combination with image lists, so you'll want to definitely pay close attention to that too. Content curation strategy number 3 is going to cover news. And news is a great way to piggyback on trending news and things like that and share with people your reaction, your disgust, your agreement, or your controversy. Because controversy can get people talking. It doesn't always have to be negative controversy. It could be good controversy. Then we talk about, discussion. How can you find existing discussion groups or ongoing discussion and just jump right in and just respond to the content and curate content through that and drive people to your site. And then we'll talk about content curation in relation to video content curation. How can you curate content and insert it into a video so that you can effectively sell people, get people to take action, get people to sign up on your list, to join your business, to buy something that you're promoting that's affiliate marketing related and things like that. So All of these 5 strategies are here to help you get results immediately. And that's really the goal in this video series. But I wanted to provide to you, an overview of authority sites as well, so that you have the option of knowing exactly what softwares to use if you want to go down that route. And of course, once you have learned these 5 different strategies, my goal was to help you take that to the next level by tripling or quadrupling or even multiplying by 10 your website traffic. So we'll take all of these and we'll basically use a specific method that will allow you to get more traffic. Now, I do want to note here that content curation is not plagiarism. This is not about taking content that is out there and even rewriting it, into your own words, but this is not about plagiarism. I don't want you to think that content curation is plagiarism. And I don't want you to go out there and just steal people's content, because that is not what this is about. In fact, I definitely am against that. But there is a gray line. There is a gray line between content curation and plagiarism. So you have to make sure that you are not in that gray line, because you could easily shift over to plagiarism. Let's say, for example, you find a piece of content and you respond to it. That is the best way of doing content curation in this case. There are other ways of doing it, and I'm not going to say that it's bad or anything, but there are a lot of black hat ways out there, and this is not what this is all about. We're trying to keep it white hat. We're trying to keep it ethical and do it in such a way that is actually more powerful if you do it this way. You see, effective content curation is the reaction of content. Your reaction is key. Agreements. Do I agree with this article? Do I agree with these links, this website? Do I disagree with it? Why do I disagree with it? Can I add some sort of controversy in there, some debate, some good, healthy debates, not necessarily anger or anything like that, because you don't want people to necessarily feel angry at you. Maybe you want to use controversy to get people angry about a subject matter that they then can take action on. So your reaction is key, but you don't want to just react to react. You want to make sure that you think about your reaction. So that kind of brings us to how it all works. My advice is to only use content that would help you in your end goal. Don't worry about using all these softwares to just grab hundreds and hundreds of content. That's not the key here. The key here is what actual content will help you in your end goal. Is your end goal about affiliate marketing and selling other people's products, or is your end goal about promoting your own products and services? How can you use this content to gear it towards that end? Now, I'll briefly talk about this in the actual content curation strategies, but let me give you an example here. Let's say, for example, that I have a business that is helping other businesses understand how to market their website. So maybe I can find 5 different companies that use specific marketing strategies that might be weird but odd, but at the same time worked really, really well. And maybe those marketing strategies were something that, the board of directors on those companies just didn't really agree with, but yet they did that and it actually turned out to be phenomenal. So my point is, I picked and choose maybe 5 companies that did that. At the end of the article, I can say something like, I respond to each and every one of these different companies and I say, hey, if you want to learn some weird but odd but powerful marketing strategies, sign up for my free report or get access to my free video and sign up on my list. So as you can see, that's one of the ways that you're going to learn in the strategy section on how to content curate correctly. So your reaction needs to provoke thought to position you as the expert. And keep that in mind. Your reaction is important, because if it's just a reaction like "this stinks," it's not really going to help you as the expert, right? Because you're trying to brand yourself as the expert and you're responding to what is happening out there in the world. And it must angle towards your end goal, otherwise there was really no point. So like I said earlier, with the 5 different companies that have the weird but odd but very powerful marketing strategies that people can use, my end goal is to get them thinking in the mindset that, okay, these companies started out with these weird marketing strategies that don't make sense, but they were actually powerful. So this guy here, this expert here, is going to give me some marketing strategies. Yes, it might be weird, it might be unbelievable at first, but I'm going to actually do it and go after it. So it doesn't have to be, it can be anything. It doesn't have to be marketing. It could be, your local store. You can content curate for that too. You just have to be creative and angle it towards your end goal. So with that said, you understand everything now. Let's jump right in and move on to video number 2.